Hiya, Jacquie Edwards here for Live at Lunchtime. Sorry for those of you that just tuned in and caught the other little bit. I've popped outside and my Wi-Fi doesn't reach quite this far, so I've had to turn that off and go on the 4G. So we're back now. Hopefully my signal's strong enough and we won't have any more blips. But basically we've got workmen inside at the house right now, so I didn't want them thinking I was weird and wondering why I was talking on my phone like this. So I thought I'd pop outside. Plus you get to see, I live in such a beautiful area. It's a beautiful sunny day, so I'll try to spend a bit more time outside here today. So yeah, today's been a bit up and down for me because we just got a call. We rent where we live at the moment. And we just got a call from the estate that we might have to move, unfortunately. So that kind of sucks. So I just looked at a couple of other places that they said we might be able to move into. Basically, we live in a bungalow that's kind of set for older people. So they have an old couple that needs to live in a single-story bungalow. Whereas us being young and agile, we can walk upstairs to our bedroom. So we might have to move shortly, which is going to add a bit more fun to everything. And it's a bit odd timing as well because we are looking for land. So any of you that have been watching any of the other videos know that we're looking for land to start building our own place. But that won't be ready for a while yet, so we might have to kind of move somewhere else in the interim. Just a bit of a pain in the ass to have to keep moving all our stuff around. So anyways, I've just been working on that this morning, but what I really wanted to talk about was budgets and financing. So I know a lot of people get really excited about their business, and I probably touched on this a bit before. And coming from an accounting background, I've got a little bit of a head start here when it comes to kind of budgeting and financing. And I know a lot of people don't like to kind of do budgets and finances. But it is a really, really important thing, especially when you're just getting your business started, because it can be really easy to spend loads and loads of money really quickly, basically. So you can start doing, training courses, you start doing advertising and marketing and all the bits and pieces that you need to buy. It can be quite a drain on your finances, especially when you're just getting started because you don't know exactly what you should be doing and what you should be focusing on. So in order to mitigate that risk as much as possible, I think it's really important. And it doesn't have to be anything complex. You don't need any fancy accounting systems, basic spreadsheet, or even just pen and paper and write it down. But make sure you know how much you want to spend to get started. So when my partner and I started our business, it's been a while now. So I think we both basically put in, I think we each put in about 10 grand and said that's our starting capital for the entire year. That's what we have to kind of get the business up and running and get started. And that's what we had to use to kind of budget from going forward. So you basically need to say, how much money do I have that I want to put into getting this business started? And whether that's for the first kind of 6 months or the first year or whatever time frame, say, what is the money that you have to allocate to your business getting started? And, even put that in a separate bank account so that you can see when that money's gone. You need to come up with a new plan, so you need to make sure you're managing that money. And then start allocating it to what do you need to spend it on. And that way you'll be a little bit more cognizant of what you're spending this money on, what courses you're taking, what advertising you're doing. Because if you've only got £1,000, that might not be enough for your full year of advertising in a newspaper. You might need to shift your focus to something that has a little bit less cost intensive up front until you get some money coming in. And one of the things I see a lot is people doing a lot of training courses. And of course I have training courses that I sell, and I do mentoring and coaching and that type of thing. But it's really important that you pick those wisely. And I do a lot of training courses as well. And I get sucked into the hype sometimes. And I have signed up for loads of courses that I've never finished. But the really important ones I have finished, and I have set out my time schedule and said, all right, of the money that we've set aside, how much of that can I spend on training and getting additional knowledge? What is the return on investment of that knowledge? So it's really making sure that you're taking the right course for what you want to be doing and that you're going to get a return on that money that you're putting into it, not that you're just taking every course on every strategy and every business model there is out there. You need to really have a plan of, what is that specific course, whether it's, a property specific course or whether it's a marketing course or a finance course. What is that course going to give you so that you can move your business forward and start earning and generating income? And I would say probably the biggest money consumer when we got started was our advertising and marketing, because it takes quite a bit to get that up and running. And you do have to try out a few different things to see what works. So, you know, if you've got an ad in the newspaper, it's going to have to be there for a couple of months before you can really tell, is it working or not. The same with sending letters to the HMO list. The same, you know, even if you're doing Facebook advertising, that type of thing. It needs to be running for a little while. You need to be tracking that, and I think we talked about this in a different article, or I think it was in my YPN article. But anyways, you need to be tracking kind of what your conversions are, how many people are calling you to your advertising, to see which one is working the best. And then where you should be allocating your budget. So if you try advertising in a newspaper and sending HMO letters, you need to be tracking which one is working the best, and then, you know, canceling the other one if it's not working and sticking with the one that is working. But it all comes down to, you know, what your budget is initially. And it can be really easy, especially for people that are working and do have some funds behind them, to say, oh, well, you know, I can just spend whatever and we'll get it up and running. Don't do that. So even if you've got quite a bit of money ahead of you and you don't think you're going to run out of funds, because again, you know, we started with 10 grand or 20 grand. You can burn through it really quickly if you're not paying attention to what you're spending it on, and you're not monitoring it and managing it. And all of a sudden you could get to the end of that 10, 20 grand and you still haven't got your business up and running. You're still not generating income. So I highly recommend having, you know, just a simple budget spreadsheet that says, here's how much we've got to start with, and here's how we're building and how we're allocating that funds, and a way of monitoring it. I would say, depending on how much you're working and how much you're spending, you might even want to be monitoring this on a weekly basis, but at least on a monthly basis, you need to be monitoring your cash flow. So how much cash you have in the bank, what your future projections are of what you're going to be spending, and basically when that amount runs down to zero, so you kind of know when you've kind of hit broke, basically. Because one of the biggest reasons that businesses fail is because they run out of money, so they haven't managed their cash flow properly. So if you start managing it when you're small, it's a lot easier to carry forward those good habits as your business grows. So I hope that helps. Yeah, tune in tomorrow. Gosh, I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow, but we'll find out then. So come back tomorrow and have a great day.